Welcome everybody, it's Simon, it's Josh, Time Zones and Time Meters. It's our semi-regular meet-up across Zoom. That guy over there is a Swede living in Holland, and I'm an Australian living in Australia. And so we've met online and we chat about music, usually progressively based. And this week, what are we talking about, Simon? What are we talking about?
What we have been listening to in 2026, we usually do a monthly, what we've been listening to the last month. But now we're kind of running up the first half of this year. Well, I will start at my routine, how that has been, because I have a turntable in the living room. I have a CD player in the car, and that's basically how I've been dealing with listening to music since that I ditched streaming, which is, so this year I basically only been listening to physical music. And what the problem is, like that, is that of course that new releases cost a shitload of money on vinyl. So I haven't been listening to too much of the new releases. Um, and that is basically also because I don't want my first listen to be in the car. I want it to be, my little ritual on a Friday evening, and however, some stuff is too good to pass up on, and when this released in February, I was sold, and I do not regret the money spent on this one. I think it's their best release. I have not heard everything that they have done. Like if I now with some, that it's been a couple of months. If I look at what have I treasured the most on this one, I think the art is one of the best songs of this year. Um, I think that Warp and Weft, which is an instrumental piece. I think that one is one of the highlights of this album as well. Oh no, Cut and Run is the instrumental piece. Warp and Weft is a piece with these like harmonic a cappella things that are also awesome. But there's lots of awesome stuff, and it's just like thematically, musically, how they recur to like it's a big suite basically. Is just amazing. So like this one blew me away. I've been talking myself tired about this one on our podcast here or YouTube show, but I just have to mention it again. I think it's such a great release. Uh, all
I was
right.
just having a look there through my streams and stuff that have been recorded, and I've done it about 10 to 15 times, and I think it's really good too. So it's probably
Yeah,
like it's right up there with one of my more played albums of this year, and so
yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed it too. So I'll give that the big thumbs up, and Simon's recommendation is a good one, especially if you love that sort of classic prog kind of vibes.
Right. Yeah, yeah. Absolutely. It's classic prog. It's classic
Yeah.
prog.
I was going to say I jumped into The Dark We Keep by Port Noir. And this was an album that I didn't think much of to start with, but it's actually just stuck around a lot. So this one's had some more legs than I expected. It's not nothing too complicated, but I've probably played this like 15 to 20 times, probably 20 times actually. Let me have a look. Yeah. So about 20 times I've gone through this album. I find it's good to just chuck on at the gym. So if I walk into the gym, turn on the, turn on this album, and basically I'll try and get through my routine in the time that the album's up for. So look, I thoroughly enjoy it. It's kind of got that new sort of sounding, sort of a little bit genty metal. It's produced pretty modern. It's got a modern production, and so because of that, it's something that I think people that are enjoy your sleep tokens and these kinds of things probably enjoy this as well. It's not quite as proggy as I probably would like it, but there's some really cool breakdowns and some great soundscapes that I enjoy. So I just wanted to mention that one. It's probably my first one, as that's been one of my more played albums of the year. Do you want to have a go? What else you got? Oh, have you listened to it?
I'm no, I haven't. I haven't. I have. It's weird. I really don't care what I listen to in the gym. Like it doesn't have to be motivating me, so to speak. Like I don't choose a different music because I have to work out. So I think last time I was working out, I had Prokofiev, like like this classical Russian composer.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was listening to classical music. I really don't mind, like, especially if I'm in the gym. It's, you're lifting your weights for 40 seconds or something, and then you're all focused on that. I don't hear what it is anyway. And then you have the rest. Like when you're in the gym, you're resting more than you're working out. So in the rest period,
Lets you do some
you
cardio
know,
too, man.
nah, that I don't do in the gym. um, but to maybe go back on that, what I have been I've been doing quite a bit of running this summer, and I bought this one on CD. So
Oh yeah. Yep.
Regressor, Joseph Stevenson's. This is like his third latest, so it's not even the latest one. Um, it's called Crescent Spoon. It's really been like a summer soundtrack for me, and even though I got it I bought it through Bandcamp, so then I also got it, access
Yeah,
to
yeah.
the
To the digital one that you can
yeah, yeah.
take from
So
there.
I've been using that for my running workouts, and it's been great. I think that this is, yeah, like it really has this summer vibe, so to speak. Um, it's very like it's like summer instrumental summer pop for music nerds, maybe. Like if you're thinking about summer vibes, you're usually just thinking of maybe a bit more, I don't know, stupid music, so to
Yeah,
speak.
no,
But
no,
I mean,
no.
this
But
is
but
of
this
course
is
super
this is
intellectual.
yeah. But it's also got like light soundscapes and it's
Yeah,
got that
yeah.
that kind of very
It's not
bright sound.
heavy.
No, it's bright and
Yeah,
it's definitely got that
yeah,
playful
yeah.
like aspect to it
Like
too.
what the album cover looks like, uh, is the vibes that he wants to communicate, of course, and I think he does that very well. So that one has been one of the favorites that I've been spending time with this year, even though it's from 2022,
Yeah.
so 4 years old already. But I've kind of, really got balls deep in it this year.
Yeah, yeah. I checked out OK Goodnight at the beginning of this year. I think it was in January or February, and it was the first time I'd heard it. I started with The Fox and the Bird and just fell in love with the album. So that album's got like it's right up there with my most played albums for the year. I love the whole thing. I think it's fantastic. And so we spoke about that. I think it was February's episode or something. But in saying that, it's also been a fantastic segue into their brand new album. So they've released a new album called Stop Go, and it is really, really fantastic. So it doesn't have the
Nice.
same, storytelling aspect of what the Fox and the Birds are like. So
No, that
it's
was
not
of course like a concept album,
yeah, a
so
really
to speak.
quite a
Yeah,
strong concept album that had that sort of fable, like going on. But this one's definitely not like that. This one's you can sort of get your teeth into, and it's also a little bit proggier, maybe a little bit heavier at times as well. Oh, I don't know. Actually, the Fox and the Bird did have a
quite
few
some heavy stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
like the mountain and the crocodile or whatever it is. So yeah, I guess they've sort of continued that. But the girl's voice, what's her name? I should probably say it in this track. Where is it? Casey Lee Williams. She does a great job in this new album, Stop Go. Like it's strong. Hey, so
She's
I think
great.
it's a fantastic prog metal ish kind of album and band. I would definitely check it out. They're real quality, really, really, really quality. I think they're going to end up one of my favorite bands, but I'll just give it more plays, and we'll just see what's going on. But yeah, great segue to go from one to the next. So it's cool. What about you? What's next? What else would you want to talk about?
Well, as summer kicked in, this one has also been on constant repeat. The new Yes
Oh,
album. So the new Yes album Aurora, I believe it was released 12th of June or something. So it's like at
Like two
when we
weeks old or
recorded this.
something. 3 weeks
It's
old.
just 2 weeks. 3 weeks, I think. Yeah. So, but yeah, I think I was looking forward to this one a whole bunch, and I thought that the leading single, just like with Big Big Train here, was a killer. Was just fantastic, um, and it still is one of the better tracks on this album. This is not really a concept album, so they are not intertwining like the other one. Um, However, and it is like this one is even a little bit shorter, so this is like 13 minutes is like the average length of each side here, because this one is also a double album, even though not quite the length of a double album.
Hmm.
All for that sonical experience, which I guess is fine. Um, and but
So come
Ariadne,
on, Simon, you got to convince me to listen to this. What is it that you love about it? Because I haven't listened to any of it yet, and what is it that makes this a good album? Because I've heard mixed reviews.
yeah, and I mean, people are hating on this version of Yes a lot because I think like most of it is that they really, I mean, you have like these two founding members of Yes, basically Chris Squire and John Anderson. Chris Squire died 10 years ago, roughly, and so he's obviously not in the band. And John Anderson, uh, John Anderson separated. It's not the first time that he exited the band, but he exited the band a couple of albums ago. So you of course have this new singer John Anderson that, sorry, John. Um, Jesus Christ, Davison, which you remember this streaming this reaction episode that we did that he
Yep,
came
yep,
from
yep.
one of those bands
Yeah,
and
that's right.
no, but I mean it is of course classic prog, just like with Big Big Train. It's not it's far from metal, and
Do you like it more than the Big Big Train album, do you think? I know it's early days.
no, I think Big Big Train takes the cake, but I mean, it
Okay.
is. I think it's really great. I think it's like this: side A and side C. If that was the album, then it would have been like on par with it. I think that like side B and side D has some weaker moments. Um, but Ariadne, you can listen to that track. That's like very. It's just 6 minutes, but it is like a very epic um, Greek mythology track with like this instrumental section in the middle which is going places, um, and then it's actually followed up by All Hands on Deck, which works as a continuation of it, but also would work with like it's about sailing, like how they're sailing back from slaying the Minotaurus, and like so All Hands on Deck kind of works as a continuation of it, which is more like a rocky number, but it's like more of an in-between number. It has like outside the box, it has some great stuff reminiscent of these old, real old, like early 70s, yes, which is almost like a little bit of psychedelic soundscape things while rocking out. Right? It kind of reminded me of Siberian Catthrough from Close to the Edge. Um, like there's some really good stuff on here, and with like I think that if this was called not Yes, but it was called How Downs, Davison, Sherwood, and Shellen. Kind of like they did with ABWH, Anderson, Bruford, Howe, and uh, who am I forgetting? Wakeman. Um, like nobody would have an issue with it. It's just great stuff, and it's great classic prog, and they do. It's not that they're only copying themselves. They like incorporate this philharmonic orchestra. A great way of incorporating that, I think. Indeed, I have heard people with totally different views of it than me. I guess the answer is you have to check it out yourself. Um, I liked it.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. One of my most played albums this year has been Terravia. Did I think I spoke about it really early on. They're like a progressive rock metal band from Norway. And they look, I don't know, like it's A New World is the album's name. And it took a while for it to sink in originally, but I keep coming back to it. And every time I come back to it, I just find myself sort of, humming along and really thoroughly enjoying it. So I think that's still in my sort of periphery of a band that didn't, well, its album's got more legs than I expected it to have, and I don't know, like it just came out of nowhere. They aren't a known band to me, and I've enjoyed it. So I think I would be remiss if I didn't bring that up because that was early on in the year as well, and it's been something that I still dip into, like on a probably a weekly basis, maybe every second week. I'll end up chucking it on in the background too. So it's a little bit heavier at times. It's definitely got some metal vibes. Especially the first track, War. But after that, it's got some really, really memorable sort of melodies and stuff that they pull out too, which I think's great. So that could be worth checking out too if you haven't already.
In what kind of musical ballpark was this, you said?
It's like prog metal ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely more on the metal side. They
Yeah.
sort of jump around the place, but it's pretty melodic. There are some harsh vocals in. I think it's the first track, and but it's still done in a
Used
way that's
sparingly.
yeah, well, it's definitely not like too much for me anyway. So no, it's probably the amount that I would enjoy enjoy. Did you want to have another one? Do you got more?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, let's
yeah,
go.
absolutely. So basically, what how it usually is I have some albums that I listen to in the weekend very actively, and then they are kind of spinning for the coming week until it's a new weekend, and then I probably have some new albums that I want to listen to in that weekend. But sometimes it lasts longer than a week, and I just keep coming back to those albums. Of course, those new releases are like that because it's like heavy investments, very carefully uh, chosen. But there is a couple of oldies that I just scored in secondhand shops or whatever that had that effect as well. And one of those things that I've been playing a bit more than usual, I have to say, is this one, your favorite Genesis album, "The Wind and the Wuthering" from 1976, the second album with Phil Collins on vocals. I just think it holds up extremely well, absolutely on top of the tier, together with those Peter Gabriel era albums. Um,
Yeah, it's
Absolutely
really.
one of the better.
I definitely think it is, and I know that most people go, really, that's your favorite one, and they always talk about Foxtrot or whatever else, and I go, I just love it. I think there's a few really insightful and quite emotional tracks in it, which I quite like as well. So, yeah, awesome. Like I played a fair bit of Genesis this year because we did that Genesis episode, right? And so I got a good
Yeah.
chance to have a close look at those. But I still would rate that album my favorite of all of them, even after all of the listening we did on the early stuff.
Yeah, no, I think it's if I would make a complete Genesis ranking, then I would rank this absolutely in the upper among the upper ones. I don't know exactly where. I have to contemplate a bit more, but yes, I think it's great. I think it's great. I think it's one of the best albums. Absolutely awesome stuff. Like if I have to look at what are my favorite tracks, I think the opener, what is it called, the 11th
11th
Earl
Earl.
of Mar. Yeah, I think that one is great. I love the Blood on the
Yeah,
Rooftop.
that's my favorite.
Yeah, and because like what I think is my favorite thing about Steve Hackett. It's not his electrical guitar playing, but his acoustic guitar playing, which is mostly done with like a 12-string guitar. I think that is like my favorite thing about his guitar playing. I like his acoustic guitar playing more than his electric guitar playing. Not
Mm,
that he's
mm.
bad at
Either of them.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, but I think that he's more of a virtuoso on the like I would have a harder time reproducing his acoustic stuff than the
Mm,
electric stuff.
mm. It's interesting. So I think look, go check it out, you guys. What do you guys think? Do you think it's that good for those that do follow and are listening? Like, I'd be super curious to hear what people would write in the comments for that one. So, like, I guess, like as I said, I listened to a fair bit of Genesis. We did a few little film studies. I'm not film, sorry, music studies. Earlier on this year as well. So it means that I had a good look into the Deer Hunter as well. So I had a lot of plays for the Deer Hunter and quite a few. I went through a fair few bit of Carnival as well, just to look at their old stuff compared to the new stuff, to have a look at their new album, and I enjoyed that. So that's been on some rotations, but it hasn't quite. I don't know what the word is. It seems just as good as anything Carnival have ever done, and I love this band, but I just have not got that excited about the album itself, and I just wonder if I've just, you know, need to give it the whole year and just see what happens later on. But probably the thing to talk about would be Elder. These guys have rocked my socks off. Like, I'm absolutely loving this album that they've recently released, and I'm also enjoying the second last album they did, Innate Passage. So Innate Passage was released in 2022. Yes, in 2022. And this most recent one was a 2026 album. So it's been 4 years. And I don't know, like I started with the most recent one. I've gone back in time to the other one, and it's just as good. Like that's two really solid albums. And I'm planning to continue going backwards and, going through all of their stuff. I knew you were semi-familiar with them as well, but I just really like it. I quite like the vocals, even though they're quite unique too. So I don't know. It's been out of nowhere band for me, and it's been exactly what I wanted to listen to. That sort of funky
Oh,
bass
cool.
work is just sick.
Yeah,
I
yeah. I
just
like
love.
he has kind of like that. I don't know if he uses a Rickenbacker, but he kind of has like that Chris Squire-ish, kind of aggressive bass on not too aggressive music,
Yeah,
which is like
yeah,
a
and
little.
it's doing a bit, and it's got some real like I don't know, some real funk to it. So look, check it out. I highly recommend it. And also, I'm a big fan of that those instrumental sections that they do as well. They don't need the vocals necessarily, this band, but I'm always enjoy them when they're on too. So it's kind of good.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. So what else you got there, my friend?
I got two more records in my hands here,
Oh yeah.
um, and well, one of this I talked about them both actually before, but maybe not in depth. Um, this one, Jean-Luc Ponty. So I've been listening quite a lot to fusion this year, jazz fusion, and I think like this one, like no doubt, I just keep on coming back to this one. It's just uh, like I scored this, I don't know, like 1 or 2 euros in the local thrift shop. I was like, oh, this is a familiar name. I've seen it around in discussions on the internet and like this prog forums and stuff. So I thought, I'll give it a shot, and this turns out to be like, well, absolutely my favorite fusion album, but maybe my favorite. I don't know, one of the favorite albums that I listened to this year. It's really been on heavy rotation. Um, I think that like if you were just gonna listen to one piece of music here from or like one of the tracks here, I would say it's the "Don't Let the World Pass You By" that has like this super cool keyboard section that sounds just like a piece from Final Fantasy VII when you're winning a battle. Actually, there's more stuff to here that I could like retrace that they've been composers like video game composers has been using, like stealing quite a bit from this record. Um, it's like funny. I've been doing that in general. Like I found, oh yeah, this is where they gotten it from. You know, when listening to these old records. This one is from '77. It has well, Ralph Armstrong, great bass player. Um, he does not have. Let's see, who does he have on? Alan Zavod. I don't know, man. I'm not. I don't know these jazz cats, but yeah. On guitars, he has Peter Monu, and Joaquin Levanu. Um, Casey Sorrell on drums and percussion. It has like some twin guitar stuff on here that is just absolutely like it's just great. It's great melodies, great chops, of course, and like with the fact that it's a violin thing because Jean-Luc Ponty is a violinist. Um, it's just electric violin. It's just refreshing. I would say like makes it you know it's I think it's very unique things. Like it's not what you immediately think of or what I immediately thought of when I thought jazz fusion. Um, it is absolutely like jazz fusion though. It's lovely. It's lovely. I would say if you wonder like, what is it like then? Just check that track out. Don't let the world pass you by. It's the third track of this one to get a sense of what Jean-Luc Ponty can do for you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I still haven't got there. I said I was going to check it out, and I'm going to use that as the prompt. So I was just chucking like writing quickly, to make sure I check that out later on because I wouldn't mind having something that's sort of in that realm, something different to maybe what I go to all the time. But cool. So look, I was going to bring up. I don't know if I spoke about this band earlier on. I don't know. I might have mentioned them, but they didn't gel with me 100%. And I said I was just going to put on the back burner and I'd see what happened. And I think this week I was on my way to work and I had this on and it just clicked. And I'm like, oh, okay. I really think this is quite good. And it's the Shagohod, A Curse That Hides the Door. It's Look, it's an eclectic mixture of like prog rock from what I can tell. Like they jump all over the place. It gets quite heavy at times. It's got synth wave stuff. It's got some real bang and bass stuff like and work that goes on as well. But it's a little bit like all over the place. Like they've got saxophones sometimes, and then they've got there's the piano's really heavy as well at different times as well. So I don't know how to really explain this album very well, to tell you the truth, but it has clicked. And I don't know, like usually this sort of music I know takes some time for it to happen for me, and this one definitely did. I wasn't the biggest fan, but now I'm kind of thinking to myself, is this right up there with maybe a contender for one of the albums of the year later on? I'm not sure because it's just growing so much on me that, and I think it's got enough diversity to really encourage you to sort of try and work out the music itself. But I don't know, like it's good. It's good. So Shagohod, Curse That Hides the Door. Maybe check it out and let me know what you guys think. Or if there's any fans out there, please reach out and tell me all about them because they are just such a hard band to explain. Yeah, they're just eclectic. Like,
Okay.
yeah, just
I like
eclectic.
that. I
Yeah.
like eclectic.
So, and actually, yeah, you probably would like parts of this a lot. And I think other parts you just be like, oh, that's interesting. And then at least yeah, I think it could merge like mine and your worlds a little bit here in a weird way,
Yeah.
especially the
I don't know.
sax stuff. I'm a sucker for saxophone. I don't think it's maybe the best that I've heard. There was another album that had some this year that I thought, oh wow, that's beautiful. Maybe it was this one. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm rambling now. Check it out. What's your last one, my friend?
My last one is Alan Parsons' project, The Turn of a Friendly Card.
Hmm.
The turnover friendly card. Yeah. Um, so this one is, I mean, I think that Alan Parsons, it is like this name, like most people know him from producing Dark Side of the Moon. And, um, but I mean, he was also the um, studio engineer on the Beatles' Let It Be, which didn't really have an official producer, like the Beatles produced it, but he was the engineer. So basically, I would say he should be equally famous for that, I guess. I would say that it's a bigger scalp to have been working with the Beatles than with Pink Floyd, even though, of course, both are enormous. Um, and I mean, I know that the Alan Parsons project has had like these big hits, like Eye in the Sky, for example. But I think that, like, compared to uh, the Beatles or Pink Floyd, it's not something that that our generation really has been fed. Alan Parsons project. Like I at least had to look this up. Uh, it was not something that I've been hearing on classic rock radio or whatever. And I think that if you haven't listened to the Alan Parsons project, I think that if you like that era of Pink Floyd, no, obviously Dark Side of the Moon, Wish You Were Here, this maybe Animals, but also echoes, like from a metal. I think like Pink Floyd, if you're a if you like Pink Floyd, I mean this like the 70s Pink Floyd, but maybe a bit more popular. I mean, then this is what you like. I mean, it has really this relaxed feeling listening to this. It's very keyboard heavy. Like that is also what Alan Parsons is doing with playing the keyboards. He does sing at times, but he has like this stream of like alternating singers. I think this is also mostly a studio project. I don't know if this group or project ever performed live. It's such an rotation of musicians on it, even though there has some staples like the steady people like Eric Wolfson, which I think is like more or less the other half of this project. Uh, that they are the brains behind it. He is the bass player, right? Nee, David Payton is the bass player. Also, like a very significant way of playing bass. Like, not overly complex bass line, but very like pumping, but a very mild bass sound. Very soothing for your ears. And no, Eric Woolson is also playing keyboards. And this is, I think, my favorite Alan Parsons Project album of what I heard. Maybe the debut um,
How many did
Dale
you say
Brothers.
they've done? Do
I
you
think
know?
they've done 8 or so,
Okay.
9.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the last one was in the 80s, like later 80s, and then they did get an album released in the 2000s that was like an unfinished product from the 70s or 80s. So, um, yeah, this one is from, I think, like 79? 79, yeah, 79. Uh, the Turn of a Friendly Card.
You're meant to smile when you do
Yeah.
that. See, then when you turn
Yeah.
it, it looks really, yeah, it's exactly what it's meant to be doing. Okay.
Yeah.
Lame. I'm lame. What can I say? So I
Oh,
should probably say, yeah, would you going to say something?
no.
Okay. The last one I was going to bring up today was Artificial Silence, which is a band that I had never heard of before, and I am really, really glad to have found them. It was another recommendation by Ian from Rhyme Signatures. He popped it up there. He said he heard the album previous to this one and enjoyed it and was pretty excited when this came out. They're not a particularly like super huge band or anything, but they released Hollow Drift, it's called, and it's a really good album. I think it's got a fantastic beginning. I just think the feature track as well, like Hollow Drift, is pretty fantastic. But I quite enjoy Title Lock as well, which is another track in it worth checking out too. But this is a prog metal-ish band. They're pretty look, they jump all over the place. There's violin, the piano. I'm a sucker for piano in metal. Like, I just like it in it. And so
Acoustic piano, yeah,
yeah, there's
or
just like a
electric
lovely
piano.
sound to it, like that I really enjoy. And so I would say that the violin and the piano, and then the brooding like heaviness at times, and then it becomes quite what's the word, like light, and the vocals, they do like a little a cappella thing at one stage. And I look, it's definitely proggy. It jumps around the place. It's pretty diverse as well, and I think it's just such a cool, solid album. And this is a band that have really sort of ended up on my playlists, a fair bit, or my plays a fair bit, and so I'm really really keen to find out whether or not this ends up an album that I just go, oh yeah, it's okay, or whether or not this is a really outstanding album. I think it just needs more repetitions. I've probably gone through it like 8 or 9 times, and I'm thinking that it's pretty good. I think it's about 50 minutes, so it's kind of perfect for my trip to work. So I find that I get through all of it by the time I get home. And so for me, it's in that sweet spot sonically, that I can sort of chuck it on, listen to the whole thing, and just really enjoy it. I think the biggest track on it was, I think Hollow Drift was about 10. Oh no, I don't know. I'd need to have a look. Yeah, I think Hollow Drift is like a good 20-minute track or something stupid. But in saying that, it's pretty good. I'm gonna have to look this up now, aren't I? Hollow Drift. It is, sorry to do this to everybody. Um,
Edit it out.
it's 23 minutes, so 24 minutes.
Oh yeah, so it's
So
half
it's
the album.
Yeah, that's right. So it's a good chunk of the album itself. So look, I mean, if you're a prog head, you like this kind of stuff, you like it, some brooding sounds, and then you like to have some lovely light piano work and some violins kicking in there at different times, and definitely check it out. It's
What's the
cool.
name of
And
the band?
this band's name is Artificial Silence.
Artificial Silence.
Yeah, so I think you might like this one too. But anyway, I really think they need a good shout out, and some people should check this out, especially if they've never heard them before, because they're definitely good, and they're good enough to have a bit of a following, in my opinion.
Ah, cool. Yeah, I gotta say I have I bought this Discman so that I can listen to CDs with proper, like in these great headphones. And wow, I mean, there's few things then really, uh, you know, sound better than a CD with great headphones. But I'm looking into getting like a nice setup for CD in the living room as well with speakers, just
Mm.
because there is a bunch of new releases that if I'm gonna take care of everything on vinyl, then I'm gonna be ruined. So it would be great to have a nice CD setup. So then I also want to take care of um, what is it now called? This thing what we talked about with a female singer. Um, you've been pushing for them. What is it?
Are you talking about OK Goodnight?
No. Um, but absolutely, I want to take care of the new OK Goodnight album. I want to take care of uh, like the new Exodus. So that's thrash metal for people who are wondering what that is. I want to take care of the new Regressor, indeed. Um, uh, Advent Horizon, I was thinking
Oh,
about.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So, look, I've loved that album as well. And I bought that on Bandcamp as soon as I could, basically. And I think Riley's the main singer, if I remember correctly, his name. But his wife is on it as well. And
Oh yeah,
she's,
oh yeah,
yeah, so there's,
yeah,
so
right.
it's kind of a bit of a duet, I guess.
Mm,
But in saying that, no, Advent Horizon is a standout album of like it's a fantastic album. I'm really, really, really happy with that one too. So, and I didn't even make my chatting list today. So there's so much stuff that doesn't get there. But I like the idea of setting up a. Well, actually, I've just been setting up a bit of a library in one of my sort of other rooms in my apartment. I've just kitted it out. I changed everything. I moved all the furniture around, and I'm setting up a bit of a music slash library to sort of listen to music or watch that. So I'm in the process of doing the same sort of thing, and CD, like as much as everyone loves vinyl and I understand the crackling and I understand all of that stuff, CD is still meant to be the best physical medium, isn't it? Like in terms of the amount of data it holds, the way it's done, price effectiveness, all of that sort of stuff, and you get superior sound quality.
yeah. I mean, absolutely. I mean, I have to say, like these new releases on vinyl. I mean, they sound terrific. I mean, it's superb. Whereas, of course, when you buy a used LP, it's a little bit you're buying the cat in the box, you know. Even though they have these ratings, is this VG plus or whatever, um, it's still a little bit subjective, and they don't always sound as great because of the wear and tear, and CDs just don't wear. Um, and what I think the problem with CD is a little bit that when CD got introduced as a medium and things got transferred from analog to CD, like you to get the right sound, to not get too sharp of a treble, it kind of needed some remixing. So some of these reissues on early 90s CDs doesn't sound as good as it could, but absolutely, I mean, like fun sonically, CD is the winning medium. Um, of course, it's. I mean, I prefer it as a,
Yeah, it's
to
tactile. It's also got like a
very.
bit of a maybe like a warmer sound, right? Like so.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can reproduce that on CD as well. It's just that when they just took the master tapes and transferred them to CD in the early 90s, that warmth got kind of lost, or there was like too much of a, like, of course it was remixed for this, so it has to be remixed for what you're listening to. It's logical that it doesn't come out as intended if you're you
I
know
think, and in saying that too, and I say this as far as physical mediums because I know that the copy of Advent Horizon's new like album, when I listened to that, I thought, oh my God, that is a spectacular, and that's a digital download, so it's not physical at all, and it's obviously just high resolution, you know, resolution. What's the word? Is it resolution? Whatever that would be called. Like,
high
but yeah,
fidelity,
yeah, whatever it
fidelity.
is. But anyway, I guess my point is that they can recreate some really fantastic stuff just online now, anyway, without the need of anything physical at all. But I don't know. I definitely understand why you should buy and support the bands. And so for me, even though my preferred method is definitely streaming at present because I do so much driving and travel, that's, I want to get my 2 hours worth of listening to something in each day. And so I just, it's easier for me to stream because I don't have a CD player in my car because it's too modern.
Yeah,
So anyway, maybe we should do an
yeah,
episode on that. Maybe we should do an episode on those sorts of things. But anyway, look, thanks for joining me today, Simon. I appreciate it, bud. It's great to catch up with you again. Thank you so much for joining us today. Please like and subscribe if you guys can. I should say that at the beginning, but I always forget to.
yeah.
We'll be back in I think 2 or 3 weeks, won't we? I think next week I was busy, if I remember correctly. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but yeah, so we'll have to catch up then, mate. And yeah, until
Yeah, man.
then, good listening. Enjoy whatever you're listening to, and we'll catch up soon. Peace out, everyone, in the YouTube world. I'll talk to you all later. See you soon.
Yes. Yeah,
Bye.
man. Peace out. Bye.